A few special topics today. I'm bringing up our homepage. Just make sure that you take the quizzes that are being posted. I sort of like silently post links to quizzes, but if you go to, if you click on the quiz and if you go to, taking the quiz, the list of all quizzes is there, just to make sure that you click on the links to the go buttons for these quizzes. And if you're already taking that quiz, it'll tell you that, it'll tell you what grade there was. If not, then you'll know that you still have to take that quiz. This one is due more, later this month. So because we haven't even started covering exceptions, so this will be perhaps the topic to discuss today. But before we go and talk about exceptions, which is a very important topic, I also would like to cover a few special topics for today, and that would be, I would jump to the outline. There is a conversation that goes under the umbrella of Java or object-oriented programming skills, but we need to talk about packages, the use of jar files, the use of nested classes, Javadoc, which is very nice idea, and also enumeration, which are similar to classes but different. And it's also an important facility, especially if you think about using libraries. Enumerations are very important. So object-oriented programming skills. So this is not a very big set of topics. Let's just go and first we can start talking about the Java packages. So imagine the situation where what we do is that we have basically two programmers, right? So we have two programmers, and one programmer here writes a set of classes, right? And so the names of classes happen to be named like widget, right, and gadget. So they thought that those would be appropriate names for these classes. And another programmer, also working together as a team, perhaps working in a different area, they just realized that they also need to have classes named widget, right, and gadget in their own corner of the application, and they may use similar interface, different interface, similar functionality, different functionality. They just didn't know that someone else in a different part of the application tried to create classes with the same name. But it's very typical, especially if you work in a specific business domain, and you have to deal with specific concepts. It's very likely that people will be using the same names for their classes. So name clashes, right? So we call this name clash in the application. They have to be resolved. How can they be resolved? Well, first, you could call like a meeting between programmers and make everyone say what class names they want to use, and make sure that no one else is going to use the same name when they write their code. But this is very error prone and not very reliable, because a number of people could be missing in that meeting, and they just came back and they didn't know that this was an agreement between everybody else. So it just leads to all kinds of confusion. So the solution is really to, in fact, not to discourage using the same names. Instead, simply say that we could create separate namespaces for these names. And in Java, namespace, in fact, is a facility in C++. In C++, you can actually create namespace, and namespace in C++ is a keyword. In Java, we call them packages, right? So we go to an example of like a prototype for our one of our homeworks, like this object-oriented input validator model. You recall that in every class that we use, let me actually close some of these the windows that we've used, and then maybe switch to one specific example. So when we write our classes, typically we already know that it's a great idea to place your code inside a package, and the package declaration, the statement that says package, specifies the package name, and then also, just like any other statement, uses the semicolon in its syntax at the end. This package has to be the first one, the first statement in our code, besides comments, right? Because if we try to use an import somewhere here, this will be a syntax error. You cannot start specifying any imports before you declare your package. And hopefully you know that it's a good idea to use packages because once again, this is one of the ways to resolve problems with name clashes. Now, in commercial applications, in commercial environment, if I have a business that's called if I have some business which is called XYZ company, right? So then typically maybe I can register like a domain for my website, and I can name my domain xyz.com, right? So typically, because Java is staying dedicated to portability and distribution of the internet, basically was conceived as internet programming language. The notion is that if you are part of xyz.com, then you could create a package named com, then you can create a package named XYZ, and very likely that you're going to say if you have graphical user interface to your application, maybe you can have a package named GUI in there. Maybe you can also have a package name business, right? And you could also have a package name persistence. Those would be examples of packages that you might have. Now, Java has this very strict requirement that if you have multiple levels in names of your packages, and you know that the creation of a packages is a very simple thing. You simply, when you create class, especially if you're using NetBeans or similar graphical interface environment, you just type in the name of your package. The folder, the corresponding folder is going to be created for you automatically. Let's just demonstrate this very quickly. Maybe I can just create a new project here instead of using an existing one.